Hey, I'm Felippe Silveira from MOWE Studio, and here are some of the best insights of our webinar on how to get the most out of your animation budgets. What are the options we have when you need to optimize budget? So understanding how to get the most of our animation budget is not only valuable when budget is short, but extremely important when you have more resources available. So usually as a guide, we have what we call the impact versus cost matrix, a high-level view of how different components in animation usually how impactful and costly or how much money they demand to be produced in comparison to others. This, of course, is not like a rule. Can be some of them can be higher than the other, can be more impactful than the other on specific occasions. But in general, for our experience, this was what we saw as being the most common. So for animation focus points, you can see like we get like the text-based animations, usually seeing lyric videos, some ads, motion graphics that usually are the predominance of graphic elements, including shapes and text, in combination of photos or live action video, character animation, so the presence of characters as an essential part of the message, and cell animation, so the use of traditional frame-by-frame animation on characters, graphic elements, or other live action videos. The thing here is, of course, where you go with usually when you have characters, we have a bigger impact, as characters are usually the things that we as humans can resonate more when seeing a video instead of just shapes and graphics. And cell animation, even though has been out for a long time as a trend, is still really strong. Now, right now we have many other things that are trendy at the moment, but cell animation always plays a big part, especially due to the fluidity of the motion that it has. If you think about like music and sound, when budget's low and need to, we don't have many resources to put on sound, usually going for stock music, stock sound effects are the way to go to save money, or even though they don't have that much of an impact, while adding custom sound design, custom music to it is a great way to turn a good animation into a great one. We see sound as a huge part of what makes an animation great. So when you have more resource, investing in sound is more than necessary. And just passing more quickly on this, so narration, like the use of voiceover, no voiceover dialogues, is less about impact, more like a creative choice. Even though with dialogues over voiceover, we're gonna have more, it's gonna be costing more because you're gonna need to have like more than one artist to work on this and coordinating a lot of stuff, and especially animation if you're including lip syncing, all that's gonna just increase the overall pricing of it. And when it comes to visuals, we define as graphic, illustrative, and character design. Just tackle really fast here. Graphic design more focused on graphic elements as a combination of shapes, lines, and typography. And illustrative is more what we see of motion graphics animation nowadays on advertising. That is more of for illustrative background, objects, and visual elements. And character design, the reason I put it this as more on costs more, visually speaking, of course, here we're not talking about like animation itself, just visually speaking, is that with character design doesn't only come with the need of a professional that is good as a character designer, as illustration and character designer, but also whenever we add character to a project, usually can expect more time with reviews and back and forth, because since those are the elements we can relate most as humans, also we all have an opinion around that. So usually is where we have many discussions with clients and trying to get things right and approved before moving forward. So usually take more time than working with a more illustrative or more graphical alternative. So yeah, so putting it all together, we can easily visualize where you can better spend your budget in different scenarios. So of course, if your budget's not a problem, you can look for everything on the second quadrant. It's gonna be great. If you need to cut on some things, maybe you should consider, let's say, maybe not doing character animation, just go with pure motion graphics. Doesn't mean we're not going to have character. We can have some character design, but not adding action to it, not adding movement to it. And in some cases, just adding some stock music can solve the problem, even though it's not the best solution, creatively speaking, and it's impactful speaking. But those are some ways and some reference of the things you look at when thinking about the components of animation. Check the entire webinar in the link in the description.